Welcome back to Afternoon Live. What a great live look outside at the Oregon coast today. That is our Inn at Spanish Head Resort Hotel in Lincoln City. Thanks so much for joining us today. Okay, whether you're in a new relationship or you've been married for years, Valentine's Day can bring expectations of romance that may or may not come to fruition. Here to help prevent Valentine's Day disappointment, we welcome back psychologist Dr. Leah Katz. It is so nice to see you. We miss you in the Pacific Northwest.
I miss being in the Pacific Northwest. It's so nice to see you too. Even though it's virtual, it's really special.
I'll take it either way. You have some great advice for us leading into this holiday of love, beginning with, should you tell your partner exactly what you want for Valentine's Day? People have differing opinions about this.
People have differing opinions of it, and I think that it's so important to normalize talking very specifically about how you want the day to look like. I think a lot of people feel like it ruins the romance, and maybe it's a little bit controlling, or it means something negative about your relationship or your partner if you have to get specific, but really it's the best way to have a good day and prevent resentment, you know? So like I think about it like this, that like what better way to be romantic than to practice honesty and transparency with your partner? Like it's such a great way to build that emotional intimacy.
Yeah, there can still be an element of surprise. You don't have to exactly plot out every point of the day, but saying, I'd like to go to dinner. I'd like to do that. I mean, then your partner can maybe meet you halfway and fill in some of the gaps on what the experience looks like.
Exactly. And I think it's so relationship specific too, that some relationships, thrive on a little bit of surprise and people can handle that. And some people really just like to know. So I'm all for, if you want a specific gift or you want to go to a specific restaurant, there's really nothing wrong with planning it out, and the tone and the way that you go about it matters, but really like normalize talking about the specifics.
What about the concept of romance and how it changes over time? I mean, people tend to get a little bit pessimistic in these long-term relationships about the idea of romance.
I think a lot of people believe that romance is something that only exists in the beginning of the relationship and tends to fade with time, but that couldn't be further from the truth. It changes. So the way that we experience love and romantic love changes and evolves over the course of a longer term relationship, but it doesn't go away. If anything, it deepens. So in the beginning of a relationship, there's novelty and intensity and maybe bigger gestures, and that's the romance. But something beautiful that happens when we're with somebody and we're in a safe and stable relationship with time is the intensity and novelty gets replaced by familiarity and safety and feeling known, and that's something really special and beautiful.
Yeah, there's so much great value in that. You just have to flip your perspective a little bit sometimes. So let's say you're hoping that your partner will become a little bit more romantic in some sense. You can't change somebody or force them to do something, but how could you maybe give them a little nudge in the right direction?
Yeah, and that's like a good nuance. We can't change our partners, but we can influence behavior. So I think, like what we were saying before, getting specific about what makes you feel loved and how you want to experience the day and giving that feedback to your partner is so important. And things like positive reinforcement, like this is for our partners and for our kids and for anybody really, but like the best way to influence behavioral change is to acknowledge the person when they're doing it right. So if your partner shows up for you or surprises you or gets you the gift that you asked for, they were paying attention, make a point of acknowledging it and saying thank you. And that's a great way to reinforce that behavior.
Yeah, it feels so good to be seen in those moments where you did go the extra mile and hopefully show up for your partner in a special way. So what about bringing the conversation up if you are hoping for maybe something different this Valentine's Day? Leading with curiosity, is that a helpful approach?
I think we have to, so the conversation is important, and being strategic about how we have the conversation, especially if it's a sensitive issue, if you've had hard Valentine's days in the past, is very important. So yeah, absolutely. Leading with curiosity, checking your tone, making sure that you're not bringing up Valentine's Day in the midst of a miss. So in the midst of hurt feelings, that's setting up the conversation for not success, for probably like not going too well, but curiosity and making it a shared practice. How do you feel loved? How do you want to see this day going? And leading with openness and not having an agenda around that conversation is helpful.
And quickly before I let you go, we got to stay off of social media and comparing ourselves to everybody else's experience, because your life is your life.
Exactly. And I think that there's a big self-care and self-love component to Valentine's Day. And one of those self-care pieces is having boundaries around what you're exposing yourself to. It's so easy to compare yourself and your relationship to other people's. And, we all know Instagram highlight reels, what we see in on social media is oftentimes just a little sliver of what's happening. So absolutely protect yourself and just focus on you and get present and have a good day.
Exactly. Always such great advice, and it is so nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
We will have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.